Hello, welcome back to Her Rules, Her Rise, where we speak bold truth with sacred love. I want to welcome you with Dr. Katona Linn, Dr. Maylee, and myself, Danielle Dittberner. So excited for this episode. This is our episode 13, the end of our series. Can you ladies believe this? It's been such a beautiful, bold ride for all of us with truth telling and laughter and so many powerful lessons. And so I want to just start by saying thank you to all of our listeners, as well as thank you to each of you ladies for the powerful leadership that you've brought and just us going all in and really having some really deep, warm conversations. Um, so today we are really going to be looking at some of our reflections of episodes that we've really loved, lessons that we've learned along the way. And so I also invite all of you to ask, like, what has been an aha moment for you as you've listened to this season and made you stop and think? So, Anne, I'd like to ask you, what is an episode where you felt like you were really stretched?
Hmm. Yeah, great question. I do think the one where I was probably stretched is the money and trauma connection because that is a little bit more of my, there have been more issues recently with that. And so kind of just understanding what trauma is and how it impacts trauma or impacts money and wealth, which I've done a lot of work on this whole trauma informed and understanding. It's it's the need to go deeper into that. How has it impacted my wealth and my money situations? And that's an ongoing discussion in my head for me. And so I think I was very, very stretched. And kind of to pull that together, it's the looking at trauma and recognizing that I have long-term trauma and there's or long time past and our short-term past. So things that are happening within the last several years, we may ignore them being trauma because we're kind of still in the middle of it and may not recognize that that's what's going on. And so I think like Mark and I were having a conversation, my husband Mark, we're having a conversation last night about we had a family friend, a very close family friend, lose a daughter, 21. And so there were conversations about like we often want to problem solve through things and want to get to the solution, which isn't bad. It's just that we can't do it at the expense of not grieving. So we need to be able to grieve so that as we problem solve, we're going to actually have a clearer head and we're going to get out of our emotions to make decisions better. So I think that whole piece has stretched me, again, not just with money, just with in trauma in general, though that one, because of my more recent trauma and money issues, that
Mhm.
was definitely a stretch for me. Being vulnerable, and
Yeah.
calling myself out, that was owning it. I have to own my mistakes. So that's probably one of the biggest stretches that
Yeah.
I had.
Yeah. And I really appreciate how you we all brought so much vulnerability forward and just owning that and owning our power in that. There was something that you had said, and it might have been the money and trauma connection. I'm not 100% sure which one it was, but you said you can't lead others out of survival if you're still living there yourself.
Mhm.
And that was such a powerful statement that hit really deep for me and just bringing more awareness of, oh, yeah, that's part of taking ownership, and showing up for ourselves
Mm.
and really being present with that. And so I want to thank you for even bringing that up and making that statement.
It's really interesting that you say that because I feel like I've heard you say that so many times in different ways. So I love that. Um, so thank you too. It's so just kind of neat to show how our mindsets often are
Mm,
so synced.
mm,
We can say things in different ways that may have a different impact on people. So
yeah,
I love it.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. So cool. May, where do you feel like you were stretched, or what episode really kind of brought maybe some uncomfortableness to the surface?
Yeah, definitely. If we look back at how we were when we first started the series
Mm.
and who we are today, there's a big change, there's a big shift. And both of you identified it in the way that I can also see. It's one thing to know things in your head. It's another thing to apply it and to live it and to
Mm-hmm.
embody it. And so all this, everything we're doing is now like peeling back the layers and getting deeper and deeper into it. And you'll notice small changes around you, and the people might, close to you might notice, but then over time, you're going to see, if you look back, that you have grown. You
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of these ideas are in your head, but then as you start to reinforce them, you shift yourself in that direction. So that's how I felt looking back over the past few weeks.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is to go out there and get out of your comfort zone, right? So with the two of you, I was able to find that support and that courage to try something I've never done before. And once you do it, you're like, oh, what was the big deal, right? That wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were so freaked about doing a podcast. We're like,
Right. Yeah. And now we're
do it
doing it
together.
like we could do it, with our
Yeah.
almost subconsciously now. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's just
We make it so big,
we
right?
make it so big,
So
so
big.
scary.
Hmm.
But then if you take that little step and try it, you're like, what was so scary about it? And that's the beauty of
Hmm.
pushing
Hmm.
yourself out there and finding a community to support you. So
Yeah.
And not necessarily worrying about the numbers. Again, we kind of gave ourselves permission to be a pilot. And
Yeah.
so, like, let's pilot this 12 weeks. And so I
Yeah.
think, yes, we look at the numbers, though, we want to just kind of test everything out.
Hmm.
So I
This has
love,
been our playground, if you
yeah,
will.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. May I want to just kind of call out one of the episodes that I thought was really powerful was the feminine power and wealth. And just you showed up so eloquently there and really talked about abundance. And, I think as you were just saying, of just showing up, that is speaking to the subconscious of like how abundantly um, wealthy, as far as energy, as far as power, as far as confidence, that has enabled you and us to be as well.
well, thank you. I appreciate your comments. And I just want to say that wealth is one measure of wealth is money, right? Like
Mhm.
currency and what's in your bank account. And it's a very legitimate measure. But
Mhm.
then there's also other ones like your impact, right? Your influence,
Mm,
your feeling of being appreciated, people asking you to lead a session or serve on a panel, or
Mhm.
these are
Mhm.
all other forms of wealth that can be converted to currency, but not necessarily, right?
Yeah.
And that comes back to your self-worth and how much you value your own being, who you are, what your ideas are, what you're learning, what you're contributing. And I think that's what we need to, it's like we go back and forth, right?
Yeah.
mhm.
Work on your learning, work on your contribution, and then also be aware that you need to be compensated as well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
So,
love what you said there, May. Like, it's kind of like you have two things. Again,
Yeah.
it's that wealth in who we are and what
Yes.
we value,
Mhm.
and also wealth in how we are paid, and that
Yes.
they are separate and yet they are together.
They're
I think
together.
that's so huge. Um,
And
just
Dr. Ann, you had a breakthrough too. You've been working really hard on your programs. And at first it may have not have looked like there was going to be any um, clients, right? But lo and behold, she landed a huge
Yeah.
contract,
yeah,
huge,
that's
which took
gonna.
time to build, but it manifested
Mhm.
Mhm.
in reality. And I'm so proud and excited for you,
Mhm.
Dr.
Thank you so
Ann.
much. And I think the big key was that I I also looked at I found clients that were more um open and willing. So kind of what you were talking about. So kind of already supported my worth. And then it was easier for me to talk about the money and to have that money conversation. It's that was a
Right?
big piece. So
Right?
again, everything that you're talking about is that was huge. So again, thank you.
They
Yeah.
go hand in hand. And
Yeah.
I don't know if Danielle, do you want to share what you decided to invest in for yourself?
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm putting you
As
on
a
the
result
spot.
of these
Yeah,
conversations.
as a result of your conversations,
Yeah.
she did.
Ooh, that's something that I've actually been keeping
Okay.
Okay.
near and dear to myself. Um, I guess I
Wow.
could just give a teaser that like I made a decision to really invest
Right.
Mhm.
in in my future
Yeah.
in a really big way, energetically and financially,
Yes.
and I'm so excited. That's all
Yes.
I have to say. As
It's like
I'm so excited for what's to come
Yeah. So
because
are we.
yeah.
it's like me too. I tend to be very frugal as far as, buying things like
Mm.
clothes or whatever, shoes, handbags. I don't do that, but then I will take out a big chunk of money and invest in a
Mhm.
business, right? Or something that I know is going to enrich me and make me more valuable as a contributor to the world. And I just did that too a couple months ago. So
You know
I,
what? You know
yeah.
what, guys? I have to stop myself. No, bullshit. I'm going to share this. Why not talk about this? So,
Right.
yeah, I'm getting my MBA and I struggled with that for a really long time because I was like, I don't need a certificate, a degree. I don't need another piece of something to really enhance my sense of worth.
Mhm.
But going back to what my values are, I value growth and evolution and education. And
Mhm.
for me, the program that I'm in is all about application. And so it is enhancing the way that I'm running my business as it is, but I'm also learning how to really expand it, how
Mhm.
to grow it, and be able to tap into markets that maybe I've never even thought about before.
Mhm.
And so for me, it's so exciting.
Mhm.
And yeah, I can't wait. I can't
A few,
wait to get
a,
started.
a few years ago, what did you think about that type of
Mm.
spending?
And your business, in general.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. There was, I didn't see a way that that was possible.
Right.
Even with taking out loans, because and I would say this is part of that past-based trauma,
Mm-hmm.
even though it's not big T trauma,
Mhm.
it's the fact that I was with my undergraduate degree, I was about $100,000 in debt. And
Mhm.
I worked so hard to get myself out of that place. And for me, it was that money mindset of being, I need to be able to provide safety and security for myself. And if I go even more in debt,
Right.
Mhm.
that just felt really scary to me.
Yeah.
And I finally said, you know what? I'm not in alignment fully with myself. My soul has been yearning for another way of expansion, and I couldn't
Yes,
figure out where that was. And then
yes.
I put it out into the universe that I wanted the universe source, God, to show me what the next step was in my financial journey even. And instead of, oh, here's a way, I consciously or I cognitively thought maybe there's going to be like how a certain offer or a certain program that I can develop and like that's how I can figure out. No, this was no, you're investing in yourself, not in something else.
Right. Not in creating something, though that could be an outcome for you.
Sure,
Will
sure.
And
likely be an outcome for you.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was really turning it back around and going, okay, how am I in integrity with myself? How am I living my values? How am I showing up in that capacity? And realized, oh, I've not been prioritizing my own education.
your own
That
growth.
piece that really nurtures my mind.
Yeah.
I've been nurturing my body, my soul, my heart,
Yeah.
not my mind in the way that I needed, though.
And something that you said, talking about that investing in yourself and going into debt. And so I've been on Dow Janes, have done many webinars, and they've got some really good stuff. And they talk about good debt and bad debt.
Mhm.
And bad debt is just like the stuff, the credit cards that we just spend. And good debt is when we invest in ourselves. And I definitely think that is true. Again, we want to make sure we're investing in ourselves,
Yeah,
and we can still always look for alternatives for funding rather than, again, if we
sure.
don't have to go into that. And I know you've talked about that. Don't have to go into credit cards, yet
Yeah.
you still are able to invest in yourself because your return on investment,
Yeah.
that's the key, is
Yeah.
that
We are our
return on
biggest,
investment. And that's what
yeah,
you're, yeah,
we are our
And
biggest asset.
yeah,
Every single one of us. We are our biggest asset, our biggest resource.
yeah,
And so that was another part that I was like, this is a no-brainer.
yeah.
I don't even need to think about the money aspect. This is so much more about what is the energetic well-being that I'm creating for myself and for others.
Yeah.
So,
I
Yeah. And
remember,
again, you've been talking about different ways that you're going to be funding it. So, like,
mhm,
again, you're being creative to
yeah,
then support that,
yeah.
you know.
yeah, I
And
remember a time when, sorry,
that's
um,
okay.
to get a course for $600, I really had to think so hard. That was so much money. And then as time went on, I started in our industry, it's very natural to have a course that could be 900 or could be even a few thousand. And
Mhm,
so as I bought into those, I saw the value in those and the return it was getting. It may not have been immediate, but I felt I was growing and expanding and learning. So
mhm,
now, for the listeners out there, there's courses out there that could be 20, $30,000. Are you gonna are you gonna come up with that? And some of them are up in the hundred thousands.
mhm,
And a lot of these, gonna say men out there are charging that much and like raising the bar. And as women, are we gonna grow into that? Because you can keep on raising the ceiling and raising your value. The
mhm.
men don't have any trouble with that. Why should we play so small
Yeah.
and fearful?
And also kind of shopping around because I did do that. I was in a coaching program that I put a lot of money into it, which again, I did use credit cards. And yes, I have a return on investment in that I have a lot of things that I would not have done without that coaching. I created my funnel. I got Facebook ads. I did a lot of things that I would not have done otherwise. Yet there's still, um, I think that if I've experienced other coaching programs that have been really a lot more supportive of me, and not as expensive, and I'm getting a better return on investment. So I think the key is not, just because something is expensive doesn't
Mhm.
mean you should take that, because there are things that, and yes, it is often the men. And I think it's the key is looking at making sure you're shopping around. Like, is this, and taking time to
Yeah,
do the research to say, is this truly going to benefit me? And again, talk to your spouse, talk to your friends, which is so great that all of the three of us get to do this on a regular basis and kind of process that piece.
yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. It allows us to have greater discernment. And
Yes.
um, I think really being able to talk about it with trusted people who truly know you at your core and can help you see maybe some blind spots that you don't have is really healthy too.
But remember that if you feel in your gut that this is going to be valuable to you,
Hmm.
your friends don't know who you are, right? You might get something out of it that's going to completely, blow open your program or your business, right? So trust your gut. And even if you take that leap into the unknown and it looks like it wasn't paying off, don't beat yourself up. You
Yeah,
took a risk and you gave yourself permission, right?
Mhm.
yeah,
To give yourself that value that I'm good enough to take this risk. I'm gonna try this program, whatever you want to do.
yeah,
Expands you, and that reinforces your self-value.
yeah,
Because
It's
it's
not the
so
end of
easy
the
to get
world.
caught up in that,
Yeah. Don't,
like beating yourself up. That's what
yeah,
I
yeah.
did.
I
yeah,
And
spent
I'm
too
like,
much. I spent too much. What did I get from it? Stop it. It's gonna be tuition.
right.
yeah.
It's gonna pay
It's,
back later. Maybe not tomorrow, but later it'll come around that
There's,
you will get something.
yeah, there's always dividends when
Yeah.
you're investing
yeah,
in alignment, and
yeah,
whether
Yeah.
that be energy, money, whatever that is, there's always dividends that
yeah.
Yes.
that pays out. And
And
even coming back to this podcast,
exactly.
like we just went out on a limb and said, no, this is what we are investing our time and our energy into because this is what we want to create.
Yes.
And that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
And, I can remember the first session that I even hosted. That was one of my strength points.
Mm.
I think it was the lies we are told as girls. Which one is
Mm.
that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the lies we were told as girls. What was so
Episode
fascinating,
3. Yeah.
yeah, for me, because I don't do scripting whenever I lead, and
Mhm.
before I started that, I had to really kind of have a discussion with myself because this past version that was very, very much influenced by my childhood of, well, you need to be polished,
Mhm.
things need to be well articulated, there's a certain process that you need to be following. And I didn't want to do that because that doesn't feel authentic to me anymore.
Mm.
It may have in my younger years because I needed that kind of structure to feel confident, but I don't need that now.
No.
I've outgrown that.
You have your life wisdom. And when
Mm,
you're having a conversation like we have, you just have to bounce off each other. You can
mhm.
prepare and prepare, but it may what you see at that moment that needs to be said,
Yeah,
far more genius, far more impactful
Yeah.
than a bunch of words on a piece of paper.
And I
yeah,
love that we've given ourselves permission again to kind of stray from,
mhm.
we have an outline, but we don't
Yeah,
necessarily stick with
Yeah,
getting
it's
stuck on it.
yeah.
exactly. It's not
Really
about
never.
getting it
I
right.
know. Yeah.
It's free flow.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I do want to ask, um, what would you say is a story that each of you are rewriting for yourselves from just this experience that we've had?
And I know for me, I sort of shared it earlier. Um, but I think it is that it's looking at the long-term past and recognizing my trauma and looking at the short-term past and kind of recognizing that. And if I stay in the truth, so not listening again to the lies, when I have, like, for me, it's the Bible is the first thing that I do every morning, and I have that routine and sewing. So that kind of guides me to stay in my authenticity,
Mhm.
and that no matter what, I need to be authentic and stay in that, because when I am that, that's where the truth can heal, long term and short term. So again, allowing myself to grieve whatever it is and grieving a mistake that I made. And so it's really staying anchored in that authenticity is key for me. I think that that's that I don't have to be perfect. And you kind of mentioned that I don't have to have everything figured out.
Mhm.
And I can share that because it's, I need to stay in my own truth, and that can help others,
Mhm.
when I'm not trying to do everything myself.
Mhm. Absolutely. Great one. May, how about you?
Yeah, so what I've learned is stuff comes up. Okay, you try to get your life all working, right? And having everything, all the pistons, going at the same time, and you think you're gonna reach this ideal where everything's going smoothly. And you think by now, after all this work, I should have everything together, right? And then something comes into your life and boom, there's pain. So I realized like it's not because I haven't done the work, it's because I got a new level of I needed to come to a new level of understanding. And so I realized in my case, I have I have a double standard. I treat my women friends very well. I treat my kids, my grandkids very well. But what do I do to myself?
Mhm.
I'm very hard on myself. And
Mhm.
that spills over into my relationships, my personal relationships. And boom, that nastiness that I do to myself, I do to the, you know, intimate relationships in my life. And then boom, it's like it blows up. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what's going on here? Because I've been so nice to other people that I love, I
Mhm.
treat them differently. What if I treated myself and the man in my life with that much tenderness and care and
Yeah.
gentleness,
Yeah,
Yeah. Completely
that's
different
true.
experience, right?
right? But the learning is all around, so it might not be your business or your money at this point. It's more your personal. And then when that gets worked out, I think
Mhm.
it'll strengthen me so I can go to the next level. And then, all of it will hopefully be, all the pistons will be functioning
Yeah.
well at a higher level.
Yeah.
So,
And you're
yeah.
already on that path.
Well, thank you.
You're
But
already
I
on
guess
that path.
there's always that next mountain to climb, right? That
Sure.
next plateau. So,
Yeah,
Sure.
I love it.
I think the lesson that I'm taking away, or just rewriting, still working on rewriting that, is that it's absolutely okay and necessary to slow down and to rest. That is not being lazy. That's actually a recalibration. That is
yeah.
refueling. That is attuning to myself.
Yes.
And when I do that, I actually gain so much clarity and I'm able to move quicker towards the things that are truly aligned for me. And a big part of that too is holding and creating space and time for my creativity. Because when I'm in that space, oh, life is rich. And
Beautiful.
yeah, and we all need, excuse me, we all need more of that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm.
If and as we keep on ascending or taking on bigger and bigger responsibilities, making ourselves more visible in the world, I think the tendency is to get nervous
Mhm.
and anxious. But then you can't keep shrinking back and staying in your comfort zone. So what do you do? And then at that time, those default mechanisms come up and those nasty messages come up real loud, and you're like, I quieted you down. So then I realized, as Danielle was saying, that you need to step out, take just 2 minutes or something,
Mhm.
calm yourself down. And I
Mhm.
used to think, why do that? That's wasting time. I need to keep pushing forward, No, because why do you have to do that? What you're doing is actually disrupting that nervous system that wants to go blah 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 blah. I can't do this. This is overwhelming. You calm it down and you disrupt that negative, flow of
That that
neurological,
loop.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
loop. You
Yep.
you cut it,
Yeah.
and instead you put in calm. And then does that work for you guys?
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
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 So those breaks are essential.
Mhm.
Mhm.
They're
It's
not a waste.
helping us to stimulate our upstairs brain so we can think
Yeah,
correctly and shutting down that downstairs brain that is all the
exactly.
emotions and
Yeah.
cravings and hormones and all.
Yeah.
So,
Mm. Love this conversation. Always love having conversations with the both of you. So to our listeners, next steps for us. For the next few weeks, we're going to be doing some different videos, some different musings of lessons that we've kind of learned or things that we want to kind of um, expand upon. And also, we're really asking for your input on what are some of the topics, what are some of the episodes that really were impactful for you? What do you want to hear more on so that we are not just talking about the things we want to talk about, but bringing forward things that other people are interested in? We're also looking for some potential guests that we can have on the show. So if you're interested in having a conversation with us and just wanting to really share your voice, let us know. We'd love to have you on. And so until next time, thank you for joining us and keep speaking up. We are three voices with one mission of healing, leading, and living fully without apology. Take care.
bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.